What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Sandstorm Meetup. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Friday. Today, I'm joined by the team over at Metapac. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Well, thanks for having us.
Pretty good. We're excited to be here.
Yeah, really appreciate you guys coming on. Now, usually start out with an introduction. Obviously, if you guys watched the show on Wednesday, you guys probably recognize Matt and Music Man Ed from the Pizza Bot team. Now, I got to ask, how did you guys come together to form this?
It actually all started through Music Man Ed's other project, Mutant Cats, which is really amazing project in the space, and he and I connected through that, and then was able to bring him into Pizza Bot, and we collaborated on that, and then all of us kind of came together and had this opportunity with Digital Arts and Sciences and Andy to do the Metapac, and I'll let Andy kind of take it from there on that.
Yeah, Great to be here. You know, we've been involved with the Tupac Shakur estate and developing, you know, this awesome NFT project, Metapac world for quite some time now. And you know, Matt has been kind of core partner in the creative development, and you know, Ed has come in to you know, lead NFT operations, Web3 operations for us. So it's a really, you know, high class team with a lot of experience so far in the space, and you know, we're excited to show the world what we've got coming up.
Nice, nice. Now, obviously, as you can see on the screen, Metapac has to do with Tupac. Like you said, you're working alongside the Tupac estate. How did that come about? How did you get the digital rights to use Tupac?
Yeah, so maybe to back up a little bit, Digital Arts and Sciences is you know, a company that both myself, Matt, and two other partners co-founded. One of the partners is a longtime music executive that has worked with, you know, a variety of different musician estates and obviously many live living musicians. And through that relationship, we were connected to the Shakur estate about a year ago, and you know, kind of began exploring some different opportunities in Web3, and you know, thinking about ways to. I think what most people know, kind of dating back to the hologram Coachella performance a
Mhm.
number of years ago, the Shakur estate is definitely keen on keeping Tupac's, you know, legacy alive, and you know, really participating in all new mediums and avenues of you know, marketing and distribution. And so, you know, I think this one was kind of the natural next evolution. So it was really just about a year ago, through some mutual music connections, that we got connected and started really exploring, you know, ways to kind of keep Tupac alive in this new medium, and make sure that, you know, the fans that are still incredibly plentiful throughout the world are able to interact. You know, although unfortunately Tupac is not physically here, they are able to interact in this, you know, in this new way.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. You know, and you guys did do a free mint for the NFT. What was, I guess, the decision behind that?
Yeah, so you know, I'll kind of date back even a little bit further. When we first started exploring different opportunities using the Tupac, you know, IP, this was probably Q1 of 2021 when these conversations and thoughts started. And at that point, what you were seeing in the NFT space was a lot less of the kind of PFP and community building projects. It was a lot more, you know, kind of art collections, if you will, that were primarily being minted and sold on third party platforms, the nifty gateways and the makers places of the world. So, you know, initially our plans were to kind of do a variety of those types of projects, align ourselves with, you know, both really well known and unknown, you know, NFT artists and you know, traditional kind of physical print artists. And so we started working on a variety of projects in that regard. There were going to be different collections themed around different, you know, things related to Tupac. We actually aligned ourselves early on with Mr. Brainwash, who was an, you know, an incredibly famous pop art, you know, street art artist, and started working on a collection with him. And then kind of as the year went on, and then separately an amazing art group out of London called Impossible Brief that had, you know, been the art creative behind a lot of other celebrity, entertainer, athlete projects. But so we actually started pursuing, you know, kind of that route. As we saw the market start to change a little bit, you know, Bored Apes got released, and you know, all the hype started driving towards the PFP projects. We believed that there was a far better way to build a long-term, really engaged community and be able to offer, you know, great value, great access to Tupac IP for a long time than, you know, rather than just doing these one-off collections. So we
Hmm.
actually had one, you know, kind of almost ready to go at the time, and still pursued it. So it was a collection that we launched on Maker's Place in December of last year. The art was done by Impossible Brief. The theme of the collection was Tupac jewelry, which is obviously something he was really well known for. Jewelry that he actually, you know, designed himself, that is still owned by the estate. The physical jewelry is still owned by the estate. And
Yeah.
we had an incredibly successful drop. I mean, it sold out within a couple days, and did really well. And at that point, you know, it kind of provided us the data to know that there was, and most of the buyers were Tupac fans.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, exactly. The stuff you see on the screen right there. So this was pre Metapac World Project, but
Mhm.
really it was that drop that kind of proved to us that there was appetite from the Tupac fans, to participate, to be interested, to actually purchase, as part of the NFT world, whether they were crypto native or not. And so from there, we kind of got back with the estate and really started conceptualizing this longer term community, almost digital fan club that we could create, with NFTs being one of the core components. But metaverse experiences, absolutely, as part of the roadmap, and we'll get more into that a little bit more. So to get back to your original question, the project is called Metapac World. Again, that is everything Web3 and NFT related to Tupac Shakur. And of course, it is driven largely by NFT drops. There will be a PFP drop coming soon, but basically, a lot of Tupac fans are not crypto native. There are many millions of fans, tens of millions, potentially hundreds of millions of fans around the world. And,
Yeah.
we really wanted, well, the community hopefully does get as large as possible. Obviously, when it comes to, selling NFTs, you're rarely looking at, collections over 10,000 or, maybe 20,000 at max. So as a way to really kind of engage the fans early on, we wanted to do something kind of special and, with no cost, to really start to build that community, to, kind of thank fans for following along and for potentially being interested in what we have plans to do. And so, we had a really, kind of unique relationship with Mr. Brainwash, who again, has physical art pieces that sell for many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, that was able to design and create a really awesome portrait of Tupac for us, which, we decided was going to act as really the access pass to the future of this project.
Mhm.
And, mint it for free, allow fans to come and mint it for free. And we did it right on Tupac's birthday. So it was really to kind of celebrate Pac's birthday, to commemorate it, and to really kick the project off. We wanted to get a really engaged, community of 6,000 individuals who could mint this for free, and then you essentially utilize that access pass as the kind of key into everything we do going forward.
Nice, nice. And obviously we'll get into what you guys got going on going forward. I did want to ask, as someone who has been in the NFT space for, over a year, crypto space for years, I see kind of just blind hatred towards NFTs. Like, people just, that don't understand them, just hate them because they hate them, and other people tell them to hate them. Have you guys had any, I guess, pushback from anyone, not wanting you guys to do Tupac NFTs?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think, it's kind of the cost of doing business. I think when you take an iconic entertainer, an iconic person like Tupac, that, has hundreds of millions of fans already, with their very specific reasons why they are a fan and thoughts on legacy and all that.
Yeah.
It's much different than, when you're creating brand new IP from scratch, that you're starting with a community of zero. I think you're going to experience that in both regards, but obviously there are those who believe Tupac's legacy, should not kind of lend itself to, what I'd say generally you kind of hear some people's opinion, thinking NFTs are scams, or not most tasteful. We don't believe that. Obviously, we're kind of participating in the space. We believe
Yeah.
there's an incredibly tasteful way to kind of celebrate Tupac's legacy and to keep his name, image, and likeness alive and well.
Mhm.
So yes, we've seen Instagram comments, we've seen Twitter comments, but I would say, while those have existed, they've been a very, very small minority, and we've had overwhelming positive support from the existing fan base, at least the fan base we can interact with through Tupac's social media, and kind of a new, or the non-Tupac fans or social media participators that have started to participate in our project, either by buying an access or claiming an access pass, buying one on secondary, or just participating in our Discord, or following social media channels. So yeah, no, fortunately it's been largely positive, but absolutely, I think any project is going to get some of that hate.
Yeah.
And you just work through it, and be nice to those individuals, and know that there's a large community of those that are excited for what we're doing, and stay the course.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you have the 3D PFPs that you said that you guys are going to be doing. Is that going to be exclusive to Metapac holders?
Yeah, so let me just give you kind of a little background on the project and all the things that have been announced so far leading up to the PFP. So we launched the project early part of June, but the first kind of free NFT claim went open on Tupac's birthday, which was June 16th. So we're barely a month into the project. But we launched with the Mr. Brainwash, Tupac portrait, which is acting as the access pass. About a week ago, we actually just did a raffle for all of our holders, 25 physical prints of this Brainwash piece of art, which are signed, stamped by Mr. Brainwash. So we just raffled those off earlier this week. We are announcing today a very special claim for holders. I can't quite divulge what it is just yet, but if you follow our Discord, you will see that announcement later this afternoon. It's going to be an unreleased, piece of Tupac content that we've created an NFT around. There will be some, variations of that piece that all holders will be able to claim for free over a week period. So if you're not a holder of an access pass today, it's definitely, next week or so would be a good time to, pick one up on secondary. And, the price is quite low at the moment. So, hopefully those that are interested can get involved, and all holders will be able to claim one of the, kind of free pieces of content that we put out. And then if you get one of the special ones, you are going to actually get a free PFP, which is the next piece of the project and will be the first paid piece of the project. So the way that we are planning to launch the PFP is that all access pass holders will, of course, be whitelisted, get early access. There will be an early mint window. There will also be a largely discounted price. So it is going to be a paid mint, but it will be a discounted price for access pass holders. There will be more supply available than the number of access pass holders that we have. So there will be, thousands of PFPs made available to the public shortly thereafter. We're aiming for mid-August launch, although the date is still slightly up in the air, but that is likely, the time period. And of course, the price will be slightly more expensive for the, for the public, but we're not. We very much want this to be a really engaged and excited community of Tupac fans. This is, we are not building this for flippers. We're not building this, for kind of cash grab. So, we'll make sure that everything is priced with, what we've seen as really fair in the market, and definitely, excited to have as many people in at an affordable price as we can.
Yeah, nice. And that's going to be, like you said, sometime around August. All I would say, Stream, is your best bet is to, follow Metapac on Twitter, join their Discord. That's where you're going to get the info. And like you said, there's an announcement today that you're going to want to be in there for. So make sure you guys do that. I did want to talk a little bit about the Metaverse. Obviously we're hosting this show within the Sandbox. Does Metapac own any Metaverse land?
Great question. So the answer is yes. Digital Arts and Sciences as a company has purchased land in Sandbox. It is land that is quite close, and by quite close I mean essentially as close as you can get to the land that Snoop owns and where the Doggies project occurs. So definitely, the company does. There is a slot in that land for Metapac related experiences, and those are in development as we speak. So there definitely will be a lot coming there. Again, what we want to do is make sure that we reward all the early participants. Not that they will be the only ones that can participate, but obviously, as you get involved in the project early on, you're going to get early looks, early access, potentially free airdrops, things of that nature to what we create in the Sandbox experience, that on the land that we own. Separately from that, and without divulging too much, but what I can say, is going to happen and is incredibly exciting. Look, the Tupac IP is, incredibly sought after, right? I think that's probably pretty obvious. We've, begun partnership conversations with a variety of third parties that are also building really unique and cool experiences within Sandbox. One in particular, in the kind of live music realm, So we'll probably leave it at that, but definitely something that is being worked on. And I think you're both on our land and in other experiences in Sandbox, kind of in this upcoming alpha phase and the subsequent alpha phases that'll be released. A lot of really cool stuff that you'll, see coming from us. So again, stay tuned. It's on our social, in our Discord. You don't have to be an access pass holder to, get this information. But again, just to note, by being a holder early on, you're definitely going to get, early dibs on anything that we release, and more value as we go along.
Yeah, and you mentioned being next to Snoop Dogg's land. I mean, obviously Tupac and Snoop Dogg have worked together and were friends. You guys ever, I guess, try to reach out to Snoop Dogg to like collab within the Sandbox or anything like that?
Absolutely, yeah. There's just kind of an ongoing conversation between the two parties. There is nothing that is out and nothing that we are ready to communicate that's been agreed to and that we're going to be doing together. But again, there's a very authentic, I think, potential partnership that could exist there. And again, the land at the very minimum is going to be close. So, we do think that those that come to experience, participate in our experiences will hopefully, participate in Snoop's and vice versa. But yeah, we're actively exploring partnerships with Snoop and a variety of other players that, make sense, that have Sandbox experiences being built to make sure that, we keep the value as high as we can.
Yeah. And are you guys, I guess, looking into any other metaverses such as like Decentraland or NFT Worlds?
Yeah. So we are pretty actively engaged with Decentraland on an opportunity as well. That'll be, something that Decentraland is actually putting together. Think more in a kind of Music Week-esque opportunity that we are exploring participating in. So we don't have land there, but we definitely will look to participate in as tasteful ways and as many different experiences as we can that make sense, that we can keep providing cool value, cool experiences for for our community.
Yeah. And I noticed on your Twitter that you guys had tweeted out Sandbox or Decentraland. You're asking people to pick. I got to ask you, which one do you prefer?
Yeah, I don't think we have any preference. We so far love them both. We purchased land in Sandbox, so take that for what it's worth and kind of what we see happening there. But again, we're exploring opportunities with third parties that have experiences in land in both. So again, the goal of this project was not, it's not to make money, it's not to exploit anything. It's really to keep Tupac's legacy and name, image, likeness, themes around the amazing work he did, music, movies, poetry, really all of the above, and keep that alive in as many ways that make sense in this new medium. So could there be, we are not looking exclusively at any one metaverse, and I think there's so much cool stuff being built out there that it kind of behooves us to explore opportunities in all of them.
Yeah. And you mentioned, this wasn't created for the sole purpose of making money. With it being a free mint, I guess where does the funding come from as far as, you had to pay, I guess, the original artists and then, future PFPs coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah. So to be clear, what has come out so far was a free mint. The PFP is not going to be a free mint. It's, again, not going to be super high priced mint, but we do anticipate funds to support the project coming from that. Digital Arts and Sciences is our kind of corporate organization that operates this project, and so we have investment into that business that has been able to cover the early costs of producing all of this, which is not inexpensive, as I'm sure and having an artist as kind of iconic and high level as Mr. Brainwash participating. So there are surely a lot of costs to get these experiences built, and we do have really a best in class team working on it, both our internal team, which are some of the individuals on this podcast that you can see, but beyond that, we use Good Morning Community to moderate our Discord. it was the core team that came from Pixel Vault, so really best in class Discord management organization. We've got an amazing social media team from Friends of Friends agency, and so we're really trying to bring in, and then our devs, Nifty Labs, which was the team behind Illuminati NFT, and Goblin Town, and a handful of others, really high level projects. So we're really trying to bring best in breed partners to support and complement our core team. And they're not inexpensive, so I think not that we are looking to recoup costs, and that's the number one goal here by any means, but surely a little bit of the ethos behind some things that will come out that have to be paid will be to support those costs, and making sure that we can create the best possible experience and build the best community for our members.
Yeah, and speaking of community, I guess with it being a free mint, do you think, like, has there been like a lack of community engagement, or would you say the community's fairly strong, especially with how the market is right now?
Yeah, it's a great question. I guess one other piece is obviously there's secondary sales do lead to some generating some funds for the project. So we haven't seen a massive amount of secondary sales on this free mint. Again, it was it's one creative, so everybody got the same image. It really is more of an access pass than it was supposed to be, with any variations. But we have seen a really great engagement. So prior to launching the project, I think we had north of 3,000 Twitter followers, a couple thousand Discord members. Fortunately, again, working in partnership with the Shakur estate, we do get support from the existing Tupac social channels, which are plentiful.
Yeah.
So we have been able to port over, a fair amount of individuals from that kind of fan base into our project, which is great. I think what we are seeing is that in this market, engagement is surely lower than it was, a month ago, even, but let alone, 3 to 6 months ago. I don't think there's much of a comparison. With that said, as we've communicated more new announcements and new things as part of our project, we definitely see the communities get really engaged, and there is ongoing chatter in the Discord, ongoing kind of responses on our social media posts and things of that nature. So I can't say that it's like what we saw in projects again 4 to 6 months ago, but we do see individuals just get excited about talking about Tupac. Right, talking about different songs they're listening to, or really iconic images they're seeing around the internet, and posting those in the Discord. So I would say in between the more Web3 and NFT related content in Discord and in socials, which there has recently been some, and we're kind of gearing up for the launch of quite a few really exciting things. We are still seeing a pretty good flow of engagement. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you mentioned obviously the access pass is just this image right here. With the PFP project coming out, there will be different profile pictures, correct? That's correct. So they are going to be 3D avatars, full body. So yeah, again, obviously biased, but taking an unbiased approach, it is some of the coolest art that I have seen in NFTs from the beginning. It is honestly, I'm blown away by the level of art that was, kind of creatively directed by Matt, who leads that on our team, and a really awesome 3D, artist that we kind of brought on to create this. So they will be exact number of supply is TBD, but they will be all one of ones with a variety of different attributes, incredibly rare to less rare, and the same kind of dynamics that you see with, some other really great PFP projects. Nice. And I wanted to ask, obviously you guys are working with the Shakur estate. You did the jewelry, you got the access pass, you're doing the PFP. Are there any other plans, I guess, for Tupac NFTs in the future? For sure. So while, kind of the roadmap post PFP primarily is going to be focused on metaverse experiences and things, and the things that we're building there. Two things. There is a lot of
kind of memorabilia, artifacts, things of that nature that the estate owns, that we, feel like could be really cool to bring, bring to life in NFT form, both released and unreleased. So as you'll see with the kind of announcement we make today, the free claim that'll start in a week, it's again, Tupac was far more than, a hip hop artist. He was a poet. He was an actor. He was, a humanitarian. There was a lot of things that he did, and a lot of really cool stuff that he created over the years. So I think it's really exciting for us to kind of bring some of those items to life in NFT form. And while we're not, announcing a roadmap of when those will be released, obviously participating in the community and being active, you will see, and we'll make sure to, excite our community by offering those. That's one. We are exploring partnership opportunities with, even non-metaverse, but third parties that, again, are large names that you've heard of that are building really cool platforms and marketplaces and things like that you will see Tupac's IP, participate in. So think of wearables and different avenues and other avatars and things like that. And then the third thing is, as you saw, we partnered with Mr. Brainwash on the Access Pass. We are aligning with some really well-known artists, both NFT artists and non-NFT artists, to create one-off or individual collections that are kind of more akin to what we did with Maker's Place and Impossible Brief back in December, but that will be launched as part of the Metapac World project. Again, for Metapac World, participants, either early, free, lower price, things of that nature, or only made available there. So these will be, we think the art is really important, and definitely, want to have a pretty frequent flow of new stuff coming out. And there's a lot in the works, and a lot of really, I think potentially valuable stuff, but valuable for art enthusiasts, art collectors, and, whether the flippers, are able to drive value out of it or not, that's not for us to say, but, we know that it's going to be really high quality content, and high quality stuff that we're going to be, introducing to the community. So super excited about that.
Yeah. I would for sure like to see some Sandbox assets with Tupac's likeness, maybe like a Tupac chain that you can wear in the Sandbox, different things like that. That'd be cool.
I'm pleading the fifth on responding to that, but we do agree that would be really cool. And, maybe those things can come to life. I'd say join the Discord and follow our socials to, stay tuned for updates on that stuff.
Nice. And you've mentioned flippers a couple times during the show. I do want to ask, I guess, what is your, opinion? I don't know how actively you participate in the NFT market. I guess, what is your opinion on the market as a whole?
I think in any market, regardless of the asset, there are going to be flippers, right? Whether it's shoes or, concert tickets or, really anything, watches, other accessories, high valued items. You always see people that are, buying to try to resell and make a profit. That of course exists here. Obviously in the physical art market, traditional art market, has been a long existing thing. So, I don't think we have a problem with it. Not, no project can necessarily control that so much. And what someone who, does want to take some risk in spending their money to, try to drive greater value for themselves is everybody's own prerogative. And in our opinion, obviously what we would love is, prices not to get artificially, inflated based off of that, and, want to do what we can do to mitigate that. And obviously, enable the most Tupac fans to be able to participate and join our community. So, I would say it's a balancing act of only so much that you can control there, but also trying to pull whatever, trying to make sure that you think about that with every new asset that comes out, and how things are priced and how they are launched and things of that nature. So that's, I would say one piece. How we're viewing the market. Look, there was, I'd say in a few weeks ago, major decline in crypto prices. We definitely saw really almost no activity, really limited activity, and everything kind of coming to a halt. It does seem in the last week or so, and again, this is a unique industry that literally changes day by day. It's very rare that you see kind of narratives for, lots of excitement and then kind of the 180-degree difference change overnight, but this is surely one of them. It does seem like we are seeing a little bit of a turnaround even in the last couple of days. ETH prices up probably 20% over the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of hovering around same general price range, but definitely up from that bottom. We don't look at that too much. We have a roadmap that we want to execute on. Obviously, we want to make sure that we are sympathetic to the industry, and so I think we look at every new drop as kind of what our market conditions looking like. But it does seem generally like participants are getting more excited and are holding projects to higher standard. You're not seeing anything and everything just mint out at 0.1, 0.2, right, or higher. Those days are over. But I think a clearly defined roadmap, really great IP, and a really strong team that is transparent is definitely, those projects do still have legs. And hopefully we're going through just this short-term crypto winter, as they call it, and we still firmly believe and are incredibly bullish long-term. And from behind the scenes, beyond just the PFP project and the things we're creating, what we're seeing, in Metaverse and a ton of stuff that has yet to be released. This is very much the early stages of this industry, and we anticipate, years going forward for there to be, a massive comeback.
Yeah, no, I agree. And plus, I've seen a couple $1 million punk sales in the past couple of days. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, the high-end punk market, the super rare punk market has come back incredibly strong.
Yeah.
And that's hopefully an indicator of, what can, then trickle down to the remainder of the market. Obviously, there's only so many individuals who can buy those really rare punks, but, hopefully that's just the beginning, and we start to see things creep back towards the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, you guys have all those things you mentioned with a strong IP team that's building, community behind it and stuff like that. You guys have that. And that's all I'm thinking about is like when the Sandbox is, fully functioning and people are able to play, and there's, millions of people playing the Sandbox, and, you guys host a Tupac concert or whatever, that's just going to be like, people are like, yo, where do I buy this access pass to get to this concert?
We agree wholeheartedly, and I think that experience you just described, in my personal opinion, would be one of the coolest experiences in the NFT and Metaverse world that has even been kind of thought about. Surely there are many others, but that one would just be awesome. I'm personally, a massive Tupac fan and have been forever, and was at that Coachella when the hologram, performed, and so I think there could be nothing cooler. One of the things that I think is important to note that I don't think is, that a ton of people know is, Sandbox and Decentraland, you hear these names, you hear that things are happening, but you don't really see it, right? There's the numbers that are reported on kind of daily active users are very low right now. And so one of the things to note is there's a reason for that. It's incredibly early, but with Sandbox specifically, there are alpha phases that get released. The third alpha phase, so there's only been 2 so far. The third alpha phase is, what we believe going to be open very soon. And what that means is that the Sandbox governance will, there are hundreds, thousands of companies built, that own land and building things in Sandbox. Just because you build something does not mean that it can be made live to the public. So Sandbox governance actually looks at a variety of different experiences that have been created, and then only, identifies some small number of them to actually be released in each alpha phase. So, while it's been talked about for a long time and very little has actually happened, I think it's really just important to know that every new alpha phase that gets, released or opened up, just more and more and cooler stuff is going to happen. And I would probably say by this time next year, Sandbox will be something that everybody participates in very frequently. That is you're seeing and being able to participate in some of the coolest stuff in all of the Web3 space.
Cannot wait! I cannot wait. As far as Metapac goes and just everything you guys are doing, what is the thing that you guys are most excited for within, I guess, the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, definitely the PFP project, which we've spent many months developing, and are incredibly excited about the art. I would say that's my personal number one most exciting piece. we have started development on our Sandbox experiences, but I would say there's a couple other things that with some other vendors, other partners that we are kind of developing in tandem with. Again, I wish there was more that I could say, but you've alluded to some things that could be really, really cool that we just might be working on. And so I would say some of those are incredibly exciting. And then, similar to the Snoop Doggies project, which was, kind of VX avatars of Snoop and of this Doggies character that were made live a number of months ago, and are the kind of characters an individual can use to explore the Snoop metaverse experiences and even others. That will be something coming down the line in our project as well. So really excited about everything, but those kind of three pieces are definitely gonna really make a big splash, I think, from our project in the space.
Awesome. Well, I really do appreciate you guys coming on today. I guess is there anything you feel like we didn't talk about that you would like to add to the show?
I personally think we covered quite a bit. Matt or Ed, on our side, if there's anything that you'd like to chime in on, please do. But I definitely think we covered a lot of really cool stuff, and I'm really excited to have been able to talk about the project in the way that we were.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you nailed it, Andy. Touched on everything. I just want to reiterate that, this project is really from a place of passion by a bunch of guys that, grew up on Tupac, that just want to do the right vehicle to bring them into this new and exciting space. And I think that's really important just to hammer home, because so many people are able to access various IPs and do sort of a version of that might be cool and updated and something that might be very timely. But I think we worked really hard for a long time on making sure that this was a timeless project for Tupac.
Nice. Well, I'm excited to see what you guys got to do. I mean, love Tupac, and I think just having him within the Sandbox and keeping the name alive and the legacy alive, I think is great. I really do appreciate you guys coming on the show today. Thank you to everyone who watched the show today. Make sure you guys follow Metapac on Twitter. Also get in their Discord. Like I said, there's an announcement today, and just everything that you guys are going to want to know going forward with Metapac. You're going to find that information out in the Discord. And once again, guys, thank you guys very much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks,
really, we're always excited to talk about the project. It is on all social media platforms, Metapac World. So the world does need to be included. We do have a website also. It's metapac.world. So all information can be found there as well. And the Discord is, /Metapac World as well. So really appreciate everybody's excitement and interest in the project, and excited to show you what we've got coming soon.
Let's go. All those links are down in the chat, guys. I hope everyone has a great weekend. We should be live again next week on Monday at 12 o'clock Eastern, 5 UTC time. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And I'll see you guys in the next stream.
Thanks.
Thanks, Sharp.